Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Confidence Culture Conversations. And I almost feel like we have opened a new chapter because we are now on episode 101. So, Kirubai, welcome and congratulations. We've reached a milestone, right?
First landmark, I must say, we have
Awesome.
just completed. And hello, everybody. It's wonderful to once again jump on our confidence culture conversations. So, Elizabeth, how was your week and the weekend? I know you're the busy bee, always busy with friends and family.
Do you know what? It's been a good week. I've had some really good highs, which have kind of just left me in a very reflective mood, which has been quite good. On Saturday evening, um, with me and my husband and Janaya were taking a walk, as we do, around Waterloo, and we had what I would call a God encounter, where we found some. I don't know if you've been down this graffiti street. I think it's called Lick Street. I think that's where it is. And we were going down this street, and we bumped into some people who were praying for people and just talking to people about Jesus, and they had some graffiti on the wall that says Jesus is king, and we were just like, this is so amazing. And we stopped to talk to them, we prayed for them, we joined them in praying for people, and like 2 hours later we were still there. I was like, guys, it's after 7, we're going. So like little moments like that just warm my heart, and just bring joy, has been really amazing. And I think I told you I started this thing, gospel coaching, and we're doing some like coaching training where we have coaching sessions, in groups with other people who are doing it, and it's lovely, it's amazing, I'm enjoying it. So yes, I think I am in a season where I'm just being very intentional with purpose, and just putting my foot into things that are very purposeful and very impactful. So I am really excited. That
I'm
was,
totally with you. I'm totally with you.
yeah.
I've been very intentional about everything that I do because sometimes, as one would say, we can easily slip into things, the mundane things every day.
Mm,
But you know what? That is not what we are called for, because we are called to have a purpose and we are called to be intentional. And
mm,
it's so lovely that you met up with these people. Elizabeth, these days I'm seeing lots of people, pockets of people standing in corners and praying for one another in street corners,
mm,
singing and worshiping and lifting up the name of Jesus, which is wonderful around and about the city. And, it's great. And especially in London Bridge, you can never stop seeing someone singing some gospel or sharing a testimony or a track. And it
mm,
really warms my heart. The Lord is doing something. He's lighting lots of fire. Fire is putting lots of lights and fire in the city of London, which really needs it at this time in season. I had an interesting weekend too. On Saturday, was it? I had a very quiet day, but Sunday we had soul songs in our church, and we read cover to cover, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. the Psalms, and it was amazing, electrifying, I must say, because we had in between we had lots of music, in the sense flute, cello, string instruments. Oh, it was amazing, and
David's
of course I
instruments.
had string.
David's instruments.
Yeah, yeah, all those yesteryear's instruments. But what really struck me was there was so much of richness in reading psalms together,
Mm,
as a congregation, as people coming together and worship. And it was amazing. And while the music was going on, there was this pastor who was started prophetically doing prophetic drawing, which was amazing.
Wow.
And yes, I was so blessed to be there. And you know, and I got a chance to read one of the Psalms, and it was amazing. So I thank God for such moments.
That's good. Did one person read Psalms 119, or was that split between different
Oh
people?
no, it's too long, too long, too long. Yeah, there were numerous people reading Psalm 19, and it was they kind of read two or three psalms and they sang, and there was an instrumental. It was going on and on. Can you imagine 12 solid hours? I think they didn't finish by 8. I would say they dragged on till 8:30, 8:45. I had to leave, but you know what, people sat and people worshipped, and oh, it's amazing. God's doing something in his kingdom.
That's really good. It sounds so simple and yet so powerful.
Powerful.
And there is
When
power in just reading the
Yeah.
word of God
Mhm, mhm.
and declaring it.
Yeah, there's power in his word, yes. And also power in, behold, when
Mm.
his children come in unity, God commands a blessing, and I really could tangibly feel his blessing upon us.
Wow.
And
That's
this old word Selah in the old King James, they have the word Selah.
yes.
I, I don't know whether you are aware of it. In between the Psalms, they have the
Mhm.
word Selah. And every time the word was pronounced, there was pin drop silence.
Wow. It was a real seller moment.
Yes, truly Selah moments. For
Wow.
those who do not understand this, you know what? Those who read the Bible, those who have a relationship with the Word of God, you would understand what the Selah means. And today, our subject that we're going to bring forth is self care.
Mm.
Self care is actually Selah to ourselves. It's a moment we take to honor ourselves, and it's in conjunction with this month, whole month. Its whole month has been about women's well-being. So, mental well-being, breast cancer awareness week, and also menopause week. So our queen here, Queen Elizabeth, she is she speaks always on the subject of self-care. I mean, I will interject here and there, but you know what? Self-care is not selfish.
Mm.
Let's get that right. Women who are out there, who are listening in today, self-care is not selfish. So take it away, Elizabeth.
No, you know what, Kirubai? This statement is now being used a lot to say self-care is not selfish. And I love the fact that we use it because sometimes when we think self-care, we think, oh, that's very selfish. But actually, if you don't look after you, what happens when you're broken?
Mhm.
You know, I've got a 7 year old even. If I don't look after me, I can't be present with her. I can't be there for her. So that's why self care is important. You know, whenever I do workshops in the community where we are talking about self care, that's one of the things that I focus on a lot. And it's a statement, it's a mantra that I get them to say. I say, the statement is self care is not selfish because I am important.
Mhm.
That's the reason why we need self care, is because you are important. And if you don't value yourself, that's when you will overlook self care. But we need to value ourselves. We need to value ourselves. And that's why we're having this conversation today, because sometimes, especially for us as women, we can be very busy pouring out and pouring out and pouring out. Like, I have a glass of water here, right? And if I keep pouring out and pouring out into others, at some point this glass will get empty. So self care is me refilling the glass. Self-care is me pouring back into the glass. So that's why it's important, because I can't pour out into anyone on empty. I have to pour into me. So when your glass is running down, that's the best time to do self-care. But don't wait for your glass to be almost at empty. Get into the habit of practicing self-care. Make it a habit. Make it a habit. And I say to people, self-care doesn't have to cost you. Self-care doesn't have to be expensive. Self-care can be free. Just think of the things that you do. Going for a walk. Just in the cool air, in the fresh air. That is self-care. Eating well. That is self-care. Reading a book. That is self-care. You're looking after your mental well-being. So it doesn't have to, sometimes we think self-care and we think, oh, I have to go on an expensive spa. I have to do this. I have to do that. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be expensive.
So, Elizabeth, in relation to mental well being, why is self care important? I know you touched on the fact that going out for walks, it really freshens, it brings a new perspective to your mental well being and seeing things, and especially getting the fresh air into your lungs.
Mm,
It increases oxygen, and automatically your mental health, it's in a different place. So, as someone who has gone through some mental health training, Elizabeth, what would you say? What would you say self-care is important?
so self-care is you looking after you, right? And self-care can be put into different compartments. It's looking after yourself financially, looking after yourself emotionally, looking after yourself spiritually, looking after yourself mentally. So it's different aspects. Self-care is the kind of care that you don't have to wait for a doctor to prescribe for you. You just go out and do it. You don't need a prescription. You just go out and do it. Some of our health problems would be solved if we gave more time to self-care.
Hmm.
If we gave more time to self-care, made it a habit, there's some health problems that we wouldn't be dealing with. We wouldn't be having to face. So when we talk about like mental well-being, so last week was World Mental Health Day. Um, we as far as you have in mind, right? There's a conversation of mental health. So it becomes a problem when you have mental health illness or mental health problems. But we all deal with mental health on a day-to-day basis. And it's about how we look after ourselves mentally. What are some of the things that we can do to look after our mind? One of the biggest things, like anxiety, depression, those things, it's attacking in the mind. It's the thoughts that we are letting to sit, to marinate in our minds. So when we are doing things that help us to look after our mental well-being, it helps us. The thoughts that are going on in our mind can have a great impact on our mental health. So some of the things that we can do, like exercise, is good for your mental well-being. Eating well, eating the right foods,
Mhm.
spending time in the right community of people. So not always I'm a loner, I'm an introvert, I do things by myself. We all need community. We have not been created to be an island. We all need community. When you're going through hardship, going through adversity, going through tough times, yes, you might be the only one facing it, but if there's help around you, reach out for the help. And I think that was the theme for World Mental Health Day this year, was having access, people knowing where they can be signposted to, where they can get help. So we need to look after ourselves.
So, Elizabeth, being burnt out, is it part of mental well-being? Because these days you read a lot on the new. I mean, listening to the news and reading in the newspapers, a lot of people are experiencing burnt out because of the pressures they go through work and work situations. Some of them are even take on two jobs because of financial constraints.
Mm.
So, any relation to burnt out and mental health?
So burnout can affect our mental health. So think about it. Anything that affects your physical body can impact your health, can impact your mental health, can impact what's going on in there. So when we talk about burnout, it's tiredness, it's exhaustion. It will affect you. I know people who, for example, like um they have fasted, and it has affected their mental health because they have stayed away from food for days upon days upon days upon
Oh.
days, and they're not eating well, and it impacts their mental health. They start hallucinating. They start, like,
Mm,
they're not thinking straight. So burnout is going to impact your mental health.
mm. No, it is in the rise in the corporate and in organizations where a person has to take on two or three other person's jobs,
Mm,
and the eventualities is you would be burnt out. You wouldn't have the energy to, and it. I suppose it gets you down, right, Elizabeth?
mm.
Yeah. So one of the things that um i- is there anything that you want to share about mental health um and mental well-being in relation to um the current month that we are so-called celebrating? How does mental health affect us women?
I think, do you know what? Mental health affects all of us, right? So whether we are women or men, it's affecting all of us. And actually, there is a higher rate of suicide among young men,
Mm, I've heard
and
that. Yeah.
a lot of this sometimes is due to poor mental health. The sad reality with mental health is that we don't always see we don't see physical symptoms. So if I tell you I'm not feeling well, it might be I'm feeling pain here, or maybe I'm lying down, I'm limping, or something. But if it's mental health, it's in there. It's hard to put a physical symptom to it. And I remember, no, I think, was it last year when me and you both attended events in our boroughs around
Mm,
mental health when it was London Mental Health Day. And one of the things that was emphasized was, like, look out for people. And if you start to see that somebody is not looking after themselves well, so maybe they're forgetting to eat, or they're not cleaning themselves, they're not showering, they're not, like, look out for some signs. They're not looking, they're staying in a dirty environment, they're not bothered about the
mm,
state of the place around them. Like, that could be a mental health issue that is starting to show. Like, those are little signs when someone is not looking after themselves. Personal hygiene, like, it's not a priority anymore.
mm, mm.
That could
Yeah.
be a mental health thing.
I like the thing. I like what you mentioned about nutrition. It reminded me of a friend of mine.
Mm.
She used to live here in the UK, and suddenly she went through a real. She felt depressed all the time,
Wow.
and I mean now she's moved back to Malaysia, but she felt depressed all the time, all the time, all the time. And this is a very happy-go-lucky person.
Mm.
And then when no, she went back to Malaysia and then she took a blood test. Looking at the blood test, they found out that all most of her minerals were below accepted board borders, below the accepted um what would you say
Below the
requirements.
standard, below like the normal requirements, yeah.
Yeah, requirements. And and then and then somebody came alongside and said, you know what, these are the minerals that you are very low in. And when
Mm.
she started taking, the supplements, she was perfectly normal. She didn't take any medication. So sometimes
Mm.
as women, why I'm bringing this point up is sometimes we can have um, such mood swings and such feeling low, feeling depressed, feeling rejected, unnecessary thoughts that just keep bogging our minds. It could be something that is um, you know f- physical, and it's ties to your nutrition. And it was very interesting. And after 3 months, she took the blood test again, and all her levels were good.
Mm.
Something as vitamin D. It affects your mental well-being.
Mm.
So things like that, we take it for granted. And especially women, our body goes through so much of stress, childbirth, periods, monthlies, and losing blood and all that thing. I know it can sound gory, but what we are sharing today is ties up very well with breast cancer and menopause.
Mm.
So Elizabeth, I want to share something about breast care awareness.
Please do go
And
ahead.
yeah, so it's very important that now's the day that in this country, that after a certain age they send you to do your mammogram.
Mm.
I do not know, Elizabeth, how is it for you? Are you in that age bracket where they send you? Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, not yet, but I'm in that age bracket where I need to go. I think it's
Mm.
every 2 years. So whatever said and done, NHS is very kind. They give free mammogram consultation. And ladies out there, I think it's 50s and you are already perimenopause. So you need to go and do your mammogram. Do
Mm.
self-examination. Like self-care is self-examination, your breast. And if you find anything abnormal, please go and reach out to your GP.
Yeah.
But if NHS sends you um, an invite to do mammogram, don't take that paper and squash it and say, no, I'm scared. I used to be scared, Elizabeth.
Mhm.
I said, no, I'm not used to these things. But you know what? You have to brave yourself and pull up your socks and say, I have to go. And they are so good, so kind, and so gentle with you. Go get yourself tested,
Mm.
because early detection is better than letting it go into something that is worst. So, because why we talk about breast cancer awareness is part of taking care of your body, God-given body. This is the temple of your Holy Spirit. And if an invitation is given to you like that and you don't take it, it is actually self-abuse. It's equivalent to smoking a cigarette, I would say.
Mm.
Food for thought. Selah.
Yeah, we need to look after ourselves. And sometimes looking after ourselves means we face the hard conversations. Sometimes it means there's habits that we have gotten comfortable with that we actually need to let go of.
Gone are the days where, we come from where our parents come from a era. I mean, I can't ever remember my mom going for mammogram.
Mm,
But these days, with water pollution, our food is just not organically grown. Our food is there's so much of contamination, all the pesticides. There's so many things that's going on. It is only by God's grace that we are alive. I can tell you
mm,
that, you know. And but when an opportunity like this arises for you, an invitation to come, then please take that invitation and go and get all your tests done. Don't ignore it. And there's a lot we can speak about breast cancer. I'm not a cancer expert nor a specialist, but today we want to honor all those survivors.
mm.
Many women have battled breast cancer, and we just want to
It's
honor you and applaud you for braving this a difficult journey. And we also want to remember the women who have passed away due to breast cancer.
mm,
They fought the good fight, they ran that race, but we honor them because the race is not easy.
mm,
Apparently, this is what people say. Cancer is cancer. It is painful, but breast cancer takes it to another level because it is your being, it's your form. It attacks your form. Most of it is hidden, but breast is not hidden, Elizabeth. It's something that is part of you, and when you remove it, it's like you half your life is gone. But yet there are ways we can overcome it.
mm.
Early detection is so important. Isn't it a sobering thought, Elizabeth?
It is, but self care, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
It's
all
part of
about
looking
self.
after yourself.
Yeah. So, do you know anyone who's a breast cancer survivor, Elizabeth?
I think I do, but don't
Mm-hmm.
quote me on that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quote me on that. But like you said, we honor them and we celebrate the lives of those who have lived through it, but also those who have passed on as a result of breast cancer.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
like you say, the sooner we check ourselves, the sooner we go and get checked, making sure that we are not ignoring, because sometimes we're also ignoring our body. We notice something is not usual, but we ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think just to encourage us is like pay attention to your body. Pay attention to your body. Go get the checks that you need to get. Go do what you need to do because honestly, once the body is broken or once your body's not functioning the way that it would normally do, yes, your capacity is limited and the way you pour into people is limited, but we need to take care of us. We need to take care of us.
I mean, now I'm thinking of a friend of mine back in Malaysia. She 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 she's a breast cancer survivor, but during these difficult times, she was not a Christian, but she found Jesus,
Mm,
and it was an amazing journey that she had. And then, interestingly, she started making bras for cancer survivors because she was a tailor.
Mm.
So she gave it gave her purpose to reinvent herself, and she she had a very thriving business, but she says now she just wants to give it up, and no, she's given it up and taken a early retirement. But what
Mm.
I'm saying is because of something that as bad has happened, something good has come of
Yeah.
it. Shows there was a good she reinvented herself and she touched many lives. She went into this cancer wards and cancer centers in Kuala Lumpur and talked to the women, encouraged them, shared a testimony. She is completely clear now for 15, 20 years now.
Mm.
So she has her testing has become a testimony.
Yeah.
So part of self-care, as Elizabeth, you were sharing, I'm sure when you face illness, it also affects your mental health, and then it is a rolling stone. Everything is affected.
Mm.
So one of the things that I think maybe there's something that you can suggest for people who are struggling um, in this area.
I think for anyone who might be struggling, one of the things I would say is accept that you're struggling and seek help. Speak to somebody. Like, don't suffer in silence, because a lot of times we suffer in silence. A lot of times we just prod on, we just keep going, but not realizing that actually the longer that we stay silent about it, the worse the situation gets. Don't be in isolation.
So in terms
We
of
have
us
to be.
being sorry for cutting you.
No, no, go ahead.
In terms of us being women of faith, how would you bring faith into this?
I would say as a person of faith, it's bringing it to prayer, praying about it, finding people that can help you pray, but also just standing on the word of God, believing what He has said, believing that He's the Lord who heals, believing that by His stripes you have been healed, and standing on that word. And also maybe listening to testimonies of people who've been healed from it, because that can help to boost your faith.
Thank you, because I think the only refuge that we can find is Jesus.
Mm,
And yes, we have hope. For a hopeless situation, there is hope.
mm.
So if there's someone out there who's struggling with breast cancer and you feel all hope is gone, there is hope for you, my sister.
Amen to that.
Yeah, there is hope. And
Mm.
if you want to reach out to Elizabeth, Elizabeth is a pastor, and you can reach out to me. We are happy to speak with you and pray for you. And you don't need to be a woman of faith. You can just
Mm.
reach out to us. We are happy to pray for you. So, Elizabeth, shall we move on to the next topic?
Yes, we shall. And I think this is
Because
this is this is your corner.
my corner, yeah, it sits very well with my age bracket. And so I think 18th of October is dedicated to Menopause Wellness Day. Menopause. It is another big demanding subject that has women have to go through so many things, eh?
Mm,
So menopause. So one of the things is we women from 45 right up to 60, 65, perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause is a big thing. And I'm nearly in my post-menopause, but you know what? It was a tough journey for me.
Mm.
And we as women, it creeps like, like a thief in the night. Menopause creeps into your life like thief in the night. And I want to also honor all those women who have braved and come uh, on the other side, and said, hey, I've beat this menopause and I'm happy. Taking menopause as a challenge, and don't go under, but overcome it with
Mm.
gusto. So menopause, how does menopause relate to your mental health and also your breast cancer? It's all tied up. And strangely enough, they want to celebrate and honor all these three things in the month of October. So
I
menopause
think, sorry,
has
Kirubai,
huh?
sorry to cut you short. I think October is also um, the month where they remember um, miscarriages. I think also.
Oh, okay, angel babies.
I think so.
Okay, maybe we should Google and see.
I will. I will. Yeah, you keep talking, and I'll do my research.
Okay, so all right. So with menopause, we have to take care of ourselves because it's the stop of periods, and we have to eat and nourish our body properly, exercise, and acceptance is important. Oh, there's something happening and you can't run away from it. It's part of nature. And one of the things that happens during menopause, premenopause, menopause is mental mental health, because you feel very depressed because you do not know what's happening to your body. Your hormones are all over the place. Your hormones are, sometimes you feel high, sometimes you feel low, sometimes you feel sleepy, sometimes you feel like the whole world is crashing into you. But you know what? All that has a remedy. So
Mm,
one of the things that I always say, as I also am trained as a menopause coach, I say is go and get a blood test done.
mm,
Blood test is so important. So when your GP sends a reminder and say your blood test is due, go get a blood test done. Don't say I know I have no time, I have no time, because getting your best blood test done is also part of self-care, because you will know where the levels of hormones are.
mm,
And then accordingly you can eat the right food and you can build yourself up, get the right support. In the UK, there's so many organizations, so many places where you can get community support.
mm,
And I'm sorry to say, if you come from a country outside UK, you might have a problem. Like in Malaysia, where I come from, they don't talk about this. This is taboo, but it's now being many women are being affected at workplace, because basically you can't get your head straight. You're all over the place and your performance is affected. So menopause is big. Read about it, Google, read about it, build yourself up. And once again, if you need some help, reach out and speak to someone. Speak to your GP. If you have female GP, they might understand. Sometimes the male might not understand. Go get yourself someone who will understand what your body is going through.
mm,
S-
mm,
your sleep is deprived, you're suddenly putting on a lot of weight, you feel moody, scolding your spouse, maybe friends, your colleagues, and then you say, what's wrong with me? I've turned into a monster. So it affects a lot of your daily routines. But you know what? There's always answer to this. And
mm,
that is the answer is self-care. So we keep coming back to self-care. So self-care is not it is your privilege and my privilege. So I'm going to leave these last words today. Menopause, breast care awareness is so important, and also your mental health. And all these things are, it's like a chain link, Elizabeth. Can you see the link coming through?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, ladies who are out there today, listen to the way your body speaks to you. Do
Mm,
not ignore it.
mm.
So, is it also the miscarriages?
So it's Baby Loss Awareness Week
Oh,
from the
okay.
9th to the 15th of
Wow,
October.
I didn't see that, Elizabeth.
Mm.
Mm,
So to
babies.
I think to all the women out there who are going through one hardship or the other, whether it's just changing your body, changes in the environment or the spaces that you're in, whether you've lost a baby or whether you've even lost a loved one. Let's just put it that way. Let's not just limit it to that. But whatever hardship or adversity you're going through, I think we're having this conversation to remind you that looking after you is important. No matter the level of difficulty that you are going through, looking after you is important. And sometimes that just means just finding one trusted person that you can say, hey, I'm struggling right now. Then you reach out to that one person. Whether it's even just telling someone, check on me. These particular days are not my good days because it brings back memories on this date. Or whether it's just asking people to be kind to you. Because even for some of us, it's be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. You might be in a season of life where you're struggling right now. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself by looking after yourself. Be kind to yourself by taking a moment to pause. And whether it's take a moment to celebrate you or just take a moment to put your feet up and say, you know what, you deserve a break. Especially for those who are constantly on the go. Taking time out is part of self-care. It can make a difference. There's a lot of apps now on our phones which encourage us to practice good mental health, and one of the things that you can do is just pausing in your day, whether it's 5 minutes where you just pause and just be in the moment. You allow your body to slow down. You allow yourself to just slow down because we're always in a rush sometimes. That was one of the things I didn't like London for. Because whenever you came from another city into London, you're walking somewhere and London people are just rushing. And I'm like, why are they always rushing? But take a moment to just pause and make it a daily practice, make it a daily habit. Things like journaling. Journaling is good for you. It helps you to pause. It helps you to gather your thoughts, take them out of here and put them out on paper. It helps you to just have a moment of reflection. Having the right community around you can make a difference. Like I I don't say it lightly. Community is so important. Community is so important. So finding the right community where yes, you can pour out, but you can also be poured into. Community where you can be challenged to be the best version of you. Community where you can be inspired. Community where you can be celebrated as well. Because sometimes you can be part of a community and yet you feel like you're never celebrated. So find these spaces, find these communities. So you're not suffering in silence. So you're not going through the trenches on your own. And I think this is where our faith also really helps us. As people of faith, I remember one time having a conversation with a lady at work. This was a couple of years ago when I used to work in the bank, and um, she was having a rough day. And I asked why, and she mentioned she had lost a loved one. And that was probably maybe 6, 7 years after my brother had passed away. And I stood there and I said to her, I said, I can't imagine what you're going through. I experienced the loss of a loved one, and my faith helped me to get through it. And actually, my faith helps me to get through life every day. So if you're not a person of faith watching this, find people, find things around you that can help you to get through. But also, don't be afraid to pray. Don't be afraid to ask someone to pray with you. On Saturday, as we stood and joined these gentlemen who were praying for people and talking to them about Jesus, a lady passed by. I said, would you like prayer? And she couldn't speak much English, but she said, yeah, I don't mind prayer. And she had her brother with her, and I think another brother, and we said, well, what do you want prayer for? And she said, she had to think for a moment, and she said, we've lost a lot of loved ones in the past couple of years. So can you just pray for us, just for peace or something? And we prayed for them. We prayed for comfort. We prayed for God's peace to surround them. So for me, and I think for Kirubai as well, we can say that through adversity and through life's challenges, our faith is a big part of how we cope and how we get through. Developing resilience is also something that can help you. Mental resilience, helping you to bounce back. Because when you go through tough times, it can impact your mental health. When you go through breast cancer, it can impact your mental health. When you go through the loss of a baby, an unborn baby, it can impact your mental health. Menopause can impact your mental health. So whatever you're going through today, reach out for help. Don't suffer in silence. Reach out to the community around you. That's really my biggest thing, is reach out for help.
So, Elizabeth, I know this weekend we're having something community. Would you like to share about that?
Yes, we are. So our Show Up and Shine community is coming together, and I must say it's coming together for the first time. We've been
Family.
running for 2 years,
Mhm.
but we have never intentionally tried to come together. So I'm excited because the people in the room, not everyone has met everyone, right? Neither have I. I've not met everyone that's coming. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. It's going to be great because one of the ladies in the community is based in America, and she is coming to London. So hey, it's a great opportunity for us to come together as a community of women to just celebrate each other. So I'm looking forward to it. So find a community where you can be celebrated, where you can celebrate others, because it makes a difference.
Samantha is saying, see you soon.
Yes!
Yep,
Oh, I'm
looking
right
forward
on
to
cue, Samantha. Right on cue. We will
Right on cue,
definitely see
yes.
you soon. Kirubai, do you have any last words?
No, Elizabeth, but you didn't mention when is your next challenge going to go.
Well, the challenge is continually running, so you can join the Show Up and Shine community at any point in time.
Mhm.
The I think the key criteria is that it's for Christian women because we love to talk about our faith a lot in terms of that being the inspiration behind showing up and shining our light.
Mhm.
So we want to dispel the darkness on social media by showing up and shining our light. Whatever our light looks like, it is light that God has given us. And so we want to show up and shine our light. So if you are a Christian woman struggling to show up consistently on social media, reach out to me. Let's have a conversation because I've got a community that would be perfect for you.
Yes. And
Oh,
my last verse is thank you for
self care, Samantha. Hug your babies, hug them tight.
So my last words is do not ignore yourself. Take some time off and plug in, have some self-care, and have a lovely week ahead of you. Till we see you next week.
Yes, you're important. So prioritize self care. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. And yeah, we'll see you next week for another enticing conversation. God bless you.
Bye-bye.